Merhabalar herkese. Hepiniz IFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün İngiltere'nin en iyi üniversitelerinden University of York'ta lisans ve yüksek lisans programları hakkında öğrenmeniz gereken tüm detayları Nicola'dan dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı soru cevap bölümünden yönlendirmeyi unutmayın. Yes, Nicola, the stage is yours now.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Well, I want to just say thank you, everybody that's attending. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to speak with me. I'm going to just start sharing my screen. Whilst that's uploading, do please put any questions you have into the Q&A. I'm going to present to you for about 30 minutes just about the university, the courses that we offer, how to apply, funding options that we have, and also a bit about the city of York, because you can't fail to talk about our beautiful city. And then we'll give a bit of time afterwards to go through any questions. So the questions that you do put in the Q&A, they will be read out by me. So if there's anything that you don't want to be made public, then please just either send me it in directly to me. But if you're happy for a question to be read out, then it will be at the end. So I work at the University of York. We are located in the UK. We are above areas like Leeds and Manchester. The city of York is very historical, very beautiful. As you can see from this image, this is our York Minster. It's a 15th century Gothic cathedral, and it's one of the gems of the city itself. Now, the campus is located just about 15 minutes walk away from the city. So even though we're not called a city campus, you are still connected to the vibrancy and everything that's going on in the city centre. Now, a bit about York. We've just celebrated being just over 60 years old. And in that time, we've managed to be able to become a Russell Group institution, which is based on our research and our research intensive courses that we offer. So this is something that we're very proud of and that we'll continue to have. We do recruit from all over the globe. So we get students from all over the world coming to us. So very much international focused and internationally welcoming. We do think it's very important that what you study with us does mean that you can go into a career of your choosing and feel very confident that you've gained the skills that you need to be able to go into a career. So we're really proud of having a 96.1% employment rate for those students within a 15-month period, either going into employment or going on to postgraduate or research or PhD learning after they've graduated. Now, I won't read through all of these because I'm going to go through it within the presentation, but these are just a few reasons why York might be a good choice for yourselves. Another one, if you're looking at these high ranking institutions like Cambridge, Imperial, Oxford, you've got really strong grades. We share two really amazing things where we have the Research Excellence Framework, where we are the top 10, and we have the Gold for Teaching Excellence Framework. This is really important to me because the Teaching Excellence Framework is really looking at student feedback. It's not just alumni and getting that feedback once past their studies. So it really shows real feedback from current students. And I think this is really important. It's looking at the teaching, the assessment, the living experience, and just all the aspects that make up being a student at the university. This is a lovely aerial view. This is just part of our campus. We are 500 acres of greenland. So if you like lakes, you like countryside, you like wildlife, then this is definitely a place to look at in more detail. You can see here, this is a man-made lake actually that we built as part of the university grounds. To the left, next to the lake, that is Greg's place. It's really hard to imagine how beautiful it is, but our graduates, when they're getting their photographs taken at graduation ceremonies, will be stood there. And part of that on the left is built up of the accommodation, some of the teaching blocks and the student union. To your right is also some accommodation blocks. And I'll go into the accommodation a bit more later on, but we do have on-campus accommodation available for our students. So we are split into three departments. First of all, we have the arts and humanities. Each of these subjects here actually represents a school. So we have the School of Archaeology, School of Architecture, for example. And within these schools, we have a range of undergraduate, postgraduate, PhD subject areas for you. So if these kind of subjects stand out, something that you're interested in, you can go to the course pages and just get a really in-depth overview of the different courses that we offer, and also the teaching methodology, how we assess those students. You'll be able to see a list of modules and get a full content of what each module includes. Any pre-starting reading material, things like that, will all be available on our web pages, on the course pages. The next one is social sciences. So for our students who are interested in things to do with business and finance, we've got the School of Business and Society, which covers accounting and finance, management, business. And you'll find that each subject area will have our own building, so that you have specific places for your teaching. Some multidisciplinary courses you might share other buildings, but each one will have special areas just for your subject. So for example, law, as you can see from the image on the right, that is our moot court. So that allows students to be able to practice being in a legal setting. They can act as barristers, solicitors, prosecutors, for example. Now, with the law, another thing that's quite unique is the problem-based learning teaching methodology that we offer. It means that you get to work on real case scenarios and develop your critical thinking skills and skills that you might need in a legal environment right from the first year. We also, as you can see, have education, social policy, social work, etc. And then within our sciences, we are very well known as a university that offers strong science subjects. So we have a range of biology, chemistry, physics. We've got laboratories, we've got research spaces for these subjects. We also offer computer science, which has specializations in either artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data science. You can also do a pure computer science degree, but we have specializations in quite a lot of our subjects. We are one of the universities as well that offers medicine. That's actually just been ranked third in the UK, which is a 5-year medical degree. That's in conjunction with Hull University. So it's called the Hull York Medical School. Now with the application, this is where IEFT can come in and support you with this. They work with universities and they are one of our trusted partners. So they would support you with the application process. Undergraduates would apply directly through UCAS. This is where IEFT can support with the application for you and just make sure that they can monitor the application as it progresses. And we at the university can accept the diploma. So we would not require you to do a foundation as part of your requirements if you're looking at a bachelor's degree. But we do also accept A-levels, IB, or if you're following an American curriculum, APs. So this is just a breakdown of what kind of grades we would be asking for. Again, if this isn't clear or if you have any questions, do just put it in the chat and I'm happy to go into more detail. But if I'm speaking to anyone that's looking at postgraduate study, we do accept the bachelor's degree that you might be studying in Turkey. Usually it's a GPA of 2.7 out of 4 is the minimum that we would accept. You'll find that most of our courses at master's level do accept 2.2 or above, so that would be a GPA of 2.7 or above. There's only a few of our courses that requires 3 out of 4. So if you've got grades of 2.7, then you would be eligible. The only other specification is depending on which course you're going for, there might be some subject-specific requirements. So, for example, if you're looking at a science subject, then it might be looking that you hold qualifications in science, whether that be for bachelor's degree and that you've done a science subject, or master's and you've done a science bachelor's. Some of our other courses, for example, business, management, things like that, it may just be that we only look for the grades. So it's just worth checking the entry criteria. And again, IEFT are very familiar with the University of York. They support us with applications, so they can offer guidance alongside us as well. Now, when it comes to English language proficiency, you're probably quite familiar with IELTS. That's very common for most people when they're looking at international study. We do have a wide range, though, that we can accept. So if you are following an IB diploma, if you're doing a higher level English, then we can accept that if it's grade 6 or above. Generally with IELTS, it tends to be between 6 and 6.5, with no less than 6 in each component. Just depends on which subject you're looking at. But again, entry criteria will be on the course page. We do also accept Duolingo for nearly all of our courses, except the medical school. And we also accept the Oxford, PTE, and TOEFL, Cambridge, as you can see here. And for postgraduate, very similar. And again, it's usually around 6.5, no less than 6 in each component. If we do happen to have a student who's been looking at postgraduate level study and has been taught in English and can provide a mode of instruction as part of their application, it is worth submitting that with your course application. I'm not saying, unfortunately, that we can accept. I'm just saying that this could be used as a fair assessment to determine whether we need an additional English test or not. Now, for undergraduate, as I mentioned, you would apply through UCAS. Postgraduate, the application can be made directly to the university. So again, this is what IAFT can support with. Or if you've already applied and then you feel like you need some support afterwards, they can provide that as well. For undergraduates, if I'm speaking to any at the moment, you might be aware, but if not, UCAS has changed its personal statement requirements. It's now split into 3 questions. Personally, I actually think this is really beneficial. It allows you to focus on each question and give specific answers. So the first question will be a bit about why do you want to study the course? The second is how's your qualifications has helped you to prepare for this course or subject? And then the third question is what else have you done outside of your education? And I will be talking about the scholarships that we offer in a moment, but it is really worth putting any additional extracurricular activities that you may have done into your personal statement. So for example, you might be part of a sports society. You can highlight this. For example, it could be, I was part of a sports team. This helped me to be better with my time management. I was able to pass on requests to other players, and it developed my negotiation skills and communication skills, things like that. These things will all help not only your course application, but also if you are considering a scholarship with the university. So this is our current fees for this academic year. They do change every year. They sometimes go up slightly for each intake. And as you can see, there is a split. So for example, just to mention one, undergraduate is between 26,900 and 32,350. This tends to be split depending on what course you're picking and if there's additional resources that are needed. So for example, our science subjects, you'd be using a laboratory, additional spaces, things like that. There's where the fee would be slightly increased. And it follows the same pattern for postgraduate and also the research area. Now, our medicine courses are set at 49,750 for this academic intake. They do have their own scholarships, so it's worth checking the course page if you are interested in medicine, but they will have their own separate scholarship funding options for students. So we do have a range of scholarships available that come directly from the university's international recruitment team. For undergraduate, we have the Achievement Scholarship and the Impact Scholarship. And for postgraduate, we have the Impact and Achievement again. We do also tend to have a Dean Scholarship. It's just unfortunately that has closed for this academic year, but it will be available for September 27 intake. That will be a full tuition fee for first year coverage and then £10,000 off second and third year. Now, there's only 6 of them available, and it was the deans of the departments that will make the decisions. For these ones here, for example, the Achievement Scholarship is up to £10,000. We tend to split it, so it's not the full 10,000. It's usually between £2,500 and £5,000 to support students. But the Impact Scholarship is £5,000 off of each year of study, and that's automatic. So none of the scholarships I'm mentioning do you need to apply for. The Impact just based on your domicile and nationality, you'll be offered the scholarship. For the achievement, usually we're looking at the student's academic grades. So it's up to myself to review our current applications to make that decision. And also IEFT will be in communication with me with their strong candidates as well. Postgraduate is exactly the same. The impact is £6,000. It's automatic. So if you receive an offer from the university, then you would receive it. And then the achievement, again, up to 10,000. Usually it's about 5,000, 7,500 for the achievement. And again, no formal application is required. We do try and support students whilst they're with us. So when you have an offer with the university, when you start to enrol and arrive, you'll receive an email inviting you to apply to be a student ambassador. It's completely your choice, but it does allow you, if you are interviewed and successful, to be able to support the university. This can be with open days, campus tours, webinars, where you'll just be providing your student experience as part of the webinar. It also allows you to make social media content, things like that. And these are a paid for position. You can work up to 20 hours part-time on your student visa. We also have job lists for anything that might be available on campus, either within the student union. And there's also career support that can help you with any vacancies that might be available within York City. Because the city is very popular and very, very appealing to tourists, we have a lot of places to eat, drink and socialise within the city of York. So a lot of students do tend to find part-time work quite easily there. Now I'll move on to our accommodation. So we have 11 different accommodation options on campus. Now there is a variation of fees, as you can see here. So we have different types of rooms available. There can be catered options or self-catered or an ensuite or shared bathroom facilities. We also have more modern accommodation blocks and the more traditional ones. We have different sizes, and depending on what you're looking for, that's what you'll put in your application, and then there'll be a different price point. So it just allows you to have a bit more flexibility with your budget and allows you to pick a room that's more suitable for you. Now, all of the rooms, no matter what cost it is, does provide heating, electricity and water, all included. There is 24-hour Wi-Fi. There is also security. That would be, there's a pass card to get into the your room. There's also a key to be able to get into the actual accommodation block. We have 24-hour roaming security. And we allow students to, there's an app you can download which has a security button. So if at any point whilst you're walking around campus, if you feel unsure about anything, you can press that and then somebody from the security will be with you straight away. So I'm saying that, but we are actually a very, very safe campus, but it's just nice to have that additional layer of security just to make you feel more confident. There is kitchen spaces, so even if you go for the catered option, you would still have access to the kitchen. They tend to have a nice recreational area as well, so you can sit down together as a group. There's different sizes of accommodation, so there's smaller, so they'd only be like with 11, 12, 13 people. Then there's a larger size where there'd be a lot more students. But there is bathrooms, shower rooms on each floor, and very large kitchens and rec spaces for you to be able to relax in. And as I said, even if you go for the catered option, you could still have access to the kitchen area. For those on our more modern area of our campus, we call it Campus East, but it's all like one very large campus. Students who go for self-catered, we do provide a weekly meal as well. So we're just trying to do what we can to minimise budget, to make sure that students are more financially settled and take a bit of the pressure away if that's something that's concerning. So we do have one meal per week during semester times, which is part of the rent, so you don't pay anything additional for that. And we also have college support. So what's great about our student wellbeing and support that we offer at the university is there is an academic level of support where you can meet with tutors, academic leads and discuss your course and your subject. We also have college support within the accommodation, meaning that you can just speak with somebody in a bit more of a not as higher professional setting, maybe just want to chat to them about your living experience if there's something you're concerned about. They provide orientation programs. So when you arrive at accommodation, they have something set up for you. So you can go for a tour of York, you can go for places to eat and drink and socialise. They help you with all the preparationary part and also just the social side. We also have health activities. So even though we've got a very large sports village, which I'll show you some pictures of in a moment, we also do have, like as it says, Zumba, yoga and things like that. Now, I'm just going to finish a tiny bit on our careers before I go to a bit about the York City. So with the careers team, first of all, we make sure in your study that employability is built into your curriculum. So we have a very strong careers team. They're very heavily involved in the academic curriculum. They make sure that even though you're studying the theoretical elements of your course, there is that practical side too. So even if you don't decide to go for an internship or a voluntary post, you're still leaving with those career skills that you need to be confident. So they have a central department that's available for all students to have access. They even offer drop-in sessions. As I mentioned, employability in the curriculum. And also because we do work with a lot of international students, there is tailored support for international students. We do have the option for undergraduate bachelor's degree students to do an internship. This usually happens after your second year, and then you've returned to the university to complete your third year, which would be the fourth year. So the careers team can support with those options. We tend to find internship opportunities around the York area, sometimes as far as Leeds, but it means that you can get that practical element if you'd like. For those that don't necessarily want to take on another year, which I completely understand, we do have internships available. So they are shorter, they tend to be during your term breaks, and they sometimes more than likely will be paid as well. So it allows you to get some smaller professional experience whilst you're studying. There's also volunteer opportunities. So we at the campus, we're very sustainable. We're very much heavily involved in environment. We've got the green flag for environment and sustainability on our campus. So we do try and implement that into the students' life experience. So there's opportunities to volunteer for something that you care about, something that might be close to your kind of what you see as important, things like that. So there's volunteering options. We have the networks and fairs. Now we have the centralised career team fairs. That's where people of industry will come to the campus and meet with students. But we do also have subject-specific ones. So for example, the law school, they have their own careers fair. They also have their own careers officer who works to support those students who are graduating with a law qualification to be able to look at converting that qualification when they return home, or maybe they're going to a third country, as we realise that's got a lot more implications to it. So there's things like that that we offer. So each department will have something specific to support with your career goals and helping you to feel that you're getting that support. Now, current students do also get access to the York for Life platform, and this is what you can keep using post-graduation when you become an alumni. It allows you to locate other alumni either in your own country or a third country. It can be focused on the subject instead, so people who've graduated from the same course as you. Most of them, when they sign up, they will confirm if they're happy to have students reaching out to them or not. This can either be through message or Zoom calls. So you can actually speak with professionals and develop a professional network, keep using and accessing the platform. And then when you're an alumni, you can offer that same mentoring and guidance support to current students 10, 15 years after you graduate. And it's just making sure that even though the university is just part of your student life, it continues to be part of your professional life long after you've graduated. We do provide apps to students as well. It allows them to be able to access jobs and placements. So this currently is with a company called Student Circus that is in partnership with the University of York. So it will list jobs that are available either in your home country or in a third country. It helps with visa guidance. It has a career ignition hub, so it's a bit like LinkedIn Learning. There's small modules that you can take, and it allows you to, again, meet with people in industry, get some ideas of what they're looking for from their graduates, and be able to tailor your experience with your degree to make sure that you can then look at moving into one of your chosen roles. This is provided to you when you're a conditional firm offer holder, so you get access to this prior to enrolling. As soon as you enrol, you would just change your personal email address to your university email address and you'll continue having access to it. And then I'm going to finish on York City. So I live in York. We've got a beautiful sunny day today, so we do get some lovely weather here occasionally. The history of York is very interesting, especially if you've got anybody here who likes history, likes architecture, kind of archaeology as well, because we have so much here. As I mentioned, we are very tourist welcoming because we do have so much that people want to see. So this is our York Minster, as I mentioned. And I will say as well, some of our music students who are part of music societies, they have actually performed in this building, which is very amazing. We do also have, modern things as well. So don't worry, you're not going to be going back in time when you're at York. We've got the York Walls, which was the historical protective barrier of York and defended us against attacks. So if anybody's kind of seen or heard of War of the Roses, you might know a bit about what I mean. We also have some old cathedral ruins, which is in the York Museum Gardens. But we do have contemporary. We've got theatres, cinemas, we've got an opera house, we've got museums and galleries. As I mentioned, we have parks. We've got the river that runs through York. So each year we have a river festival where people will be rowing. There's lots of places to eat and drink and socialise. And you can travel from York train station to pretty much anywhere in the UK directly. So if you're fancying a weekend in London, it's like 2 hours direct. You can get to Manchester in about 50 minutes. You can get to Leeds in 20. You can travel up to Scotland directly in a few hours. So we've got a fantastic kind of commuting central hub that allows you to go everywhere. And it's great. And this is just some of the things that I was mentioning. So we have festivals, it's a student-friendly city. We've got Christmas festivals, which is fantastic. That's a really good one. That probably means the whole streets smell like kind of mulled wine for about 2 weeks. We have a lot of literature festivals, film festivals, and things that happen. So it's very popular. You can take a guided tour. So we do have an app that you can download, which is Visit You at York. This allows you to be able to take a tour of the campus, the accommodation, and the city, all from your own home. A student ambassador, it's all been pre-recorded. They can show you around, so you can have this great tour, go into all the details. So do feel free to download that. There's no obligation to be signed up as a student or sign up afterwards or anything, but it's a great way of getting a really good, realistic view of what the campus looks like. And I mentioned quite a lot about the support and guidance that we have. So as I've said, we've got the orientation for when you're arriving at the university. We provide pre-departure briefings. Student ambassadors will meet you when you arrive and take you to your rooms. And we have academic support. So not only can you speak with an academic supervisor, we can also speak with the international student support team so they can help with things. We have welfare support. So this may be support you need that's outside of the academic area. Sometimes it's just social activities. It's a change moving abroad and being in a different city. We try and support as much as we can there. We also have faith-based groups. So as part of our student union, we have a number of societies and groups that you can join. We have a Turkish society, for example. So there's great ways to meet with other students. And it's just a way of being able to make friends, join clubs and societies, and also feeling you're getting the support you need. So this is just an images of some of our societies. We do have a sports village, which has got its own swimming pool. We've got indoor and outdoor pitches. There's pretty much every sport you can think of that we have available. We do have college level, which is more of the social side, a bit more fun if you're interested in something, but not too competitive. But then we do have the student union level. So say, for example, you play a sport and you're quite good at it, then there's the option to join as a student union member, and you actually have competitions with other universities. So we are quite competitive sports-wise, even though we don't have any educational degrees in sports. As you can see here, we've got the running tracks and the gyms. So I've kind of gone through that quite quickly, but I recognise we've only got 45 minutes. I'm going to stop sharing and then jump to any questions and answers. So I did answer quite a bit about how does the university support employability. So I would say that when you arrive, you obviously, as part of your induction, get to meet the different departments. You would be able to meet with the careers team, and they provide a student journey, which is looking more from the careers perspective. So it's helping you to prepare for your studies, helps you whilst you're studying. They have one-to-one drop-in sessions with the careers team. There's the app that you get access to before you enroll, which has links to people in industry. Whilst you're at the university, you also you will get as well the ability to be able to meet with professionals. They also have career employability embedded into your curriculum as well. So with placement years and internship opportunities, yes, we do have them. What you would need to do, first of all, some of the courses, it's already built into the structure. So you'll see that there's the option to do. So for example, computer science, you can do computer science 3 years or 4 years or 3 years of a year in industry, making it 4 years. For those that don't come with that already built in, you can speak with our careers team. They can support you with looking at doing an internship year if it's not already kind of made and ready for you. So a very long way of me saying, yes, there is placement years and internships. There's also opportunities to study abroad for a year. So particular courses have already got forms of agreements with other institutions internationally. So it depends which course you are studying, but you will find that for quite a lot of our subjects, there's also a year abroad in another university, which is also an option. I've just got a question about the scholarship. So I think I already answered that. So I'm going to say I've answered it, but if I've not, and there's something specific, do let me know. My advice, that's a good question. What advice would you give to someone applying to York? I would definitely make sure you've had a look at the course content. Make sure as well that the location, as in the campus, is something that you're interested in. I used to work in a London-based institution. I know the appeal of being in a very large city. And to be honest, if I'm speaking to some students in Turkey who, for example, may live in Istanbul, you might be quite already familiar with a lively kind of environment. So maybe a quieter campus might be more of an appeal. But it's worth having a look at the locations, having a look at the university rankings. What are the things that are important to you whilst you're studying? From the University of York, I can say that you'd be in a beautiful city, you'd be a safe environment, very welcoming, very safe, large, green campus. So those things are to take into consideration where you'll be living, what sort of things interest you outside of your study. Also, when it comes to the actual application process, we would need to see a UCAS application for undergraduates and direct application for postgraduates. But we would ask for your academic transcripts and certificate if you've been awarded, but if you haven't, that's not a problem. We would then be asking you to provide a personal statement. This would be outlining your reasons for study, the extracurricular skills that you've been completing that would strengthen your application. And these things are really important as well, because when the admissions team review your application, they will pass any applicant that, say, for example, you've studied something slightly different, but you're wanting to move into a different area. We have academic advisors that support us with this application process. So everything will be looked at to make sure we do a fair assessment. So do make sure you spend some time on your personal statement. And then that can just make sure then that you're also considered fairly for the course, but you're also given that extra step of being assessed for any scholarships we have that aren't automatic. Now, for any students who are applying to university but don't necessarily know their career direction, I mean, that's quite a good question, but I think it's also quite difficult to answer in the sense that most of our courses, when you go to a UK institution, you will find that the courses you do jump straight into the modules that will be continuing second and third year for a specific kind of trajectory. Now, the good thing is, because obviously people's minds change, I myself changed my mind plenty of times. I think when I was about 11 or 12, I wanted to be a lawyer, then I wanted to be a vet, and then all of a sudden I wanted to be a visual merchandiser. It's looking at the transferable skills. So you'll find that with a lot of the courses, especially with the career and employability embedded into that, you'll find there's a lot of transferable skills available. So depending on what subject you've chosen and then what you're wanting to move into, you'll find that quite a lot of the transferable skills are quite similar. They're usually being able to, communicate effectively with people at a higher level. There might be something to do, depending on what you've studied, it might be something career focused or legal focused. So, for example, our biomedical sciences has a lot of transferable skills that can look into students transferring out and looking at another science area, or maybe they want to work with a company and they need to have a bit of that knowledge, things like that. So it's obviously the decision is the applicant's, and there is flexibility on transferable skills and being able to move across. But I would say if you started doing a bachelor's degree in one subject and then suddenly decided you were interested in medicine, that's where it could be more complicated. So I suppose as well, this is where I should say that IEFT are a great team to speak to, because if you're not quite sure in your career, but maybe you've got a bit of an idea, IEFT can help you to just focus that a bit, work with me at the university and just try and kind of narrow down those choices and see if there's something that would have those transferable skills to help you progress into another way or changing later on. Now, somebody's done a really good question, which I might, oh goodness. What's something small about student life at York that has a big impact? That is a really good question. I might have to take a moment to think about that. I think, obviously, I'm quite, I'm very much into nature, animals, wildlife. We do so many fantastic volunteering opportunities, which I don't know with your age ranges, of who I'm speaking to. I don't know if that's the appeal or not, but we have students who volunteer their time. They help within the local community that is of York City. They've been able to help with either wildlife things, that could just be something as replanting or kind of cleaning up an area. We also have them helping. We have like a little church that's near us. Some of our students will support there. And there's just a lot of little things that you can do that has a really big impact on the community itself. I'd also say, our clubs and societies, we have over 200 to look at to join. And a lot of these do kind of blend into kind of community support as well. And I do think that has a really major impact for the people who live here, elderly, things like that. So I definitely have a look at those opportunities. Okay, I think I've answered everybody's questions. I can see there's something else in the chat. Okay, so there's just one final question. So I'd just say before, if anybody is kind of finishing up now, just to say thank you very much for attending. There was an IELTS question about clarification on the required IELTS points. So you will need to have a look at your course of subject to be able to have a look at what the entry criteria is and see which IELTS requirements are. But you'll find for the most part, they'll generally want either 6 or 6.5 overall, and no less than 6 in each component. So that's the reading, writing, listening, and speaking.
Yes, thank you very much for the answers, Nicola, and for the presentation. It was very beneficial for the attendees. And could you please share an email address on the chat box, so if they have further questions, they can contact you later on?
Yep, absolutely fine. I'll put that in.
And in the meantime, I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. University of York ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adresinden Nikola ile her zaman iletişime geçebilirsiniz. Bir sonraki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you very much again once, Nikola. It was great to have you in our AFT talks.
Thank you very much. I hope everybody got all the information they needed, but my email is in the chat. Please do copy it down before you leave. And if you do have any further questions, then do get in touch with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.